Record. Welcome everyone to our next class for Leadership Lacey. I'm super excited as we continue through each of these lunch and learns to get us prepared for the next steps. And I'm also really excited to have one of what I like to say, one of our regular trainers, Miss Emmy Lou, join us. For me, it's all the way from Miami, which feels like a big distance since I'm based here in Tallahassee. But I'm going to, I sent everyone the introduction to Miss Emmy Lou, but I'm also going to invite Chris to share any thoughts about Emmy Lou, since she's known her for quite some time, and why she was one of the ideal candidates for this session.
Well, thank you. And it's very good to see everybody. I'm enjoying these sessions with y'all. I've known Emmy Lou since the very beginning when I started, however many, 4 or 5 years ago with Lacey. She's been on the board for that long, and she is, I consider, a trusted advisor. When I have any questions or anything, I can call her. And in the middle of being very, 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 very busy with her high quality center. And did you say last night, Emmy Lou, you have how many children now?
280 children.
280 children, you know, and all that she does, she always finds time to help me out. And she's also that friend that we can get on the phone and giggle with each other about things. So I really appreciate her, and her training that she does and her staff that she has are the top quality. And I am delighted that she's training today, and I know you're going to get a lot out of it. She is a jewel. So with that, I'm going to hand her over.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm so humbled to be here today with all of you. I know that it's lunchtime and that you all came out of your regular work day just to come to do this, but just, as Holly says, this is part of the journey. This is part of the journey of building what you hope to create in the future, which is a leadership team, a wonderful, wonderful legacy that you're going to leave for Lacey. And you are our ambassadors, and you're going to be helping future leaders. And that's how I feel I am right now in my life. I do run an amazing program, but I have to tell you, it's because I have amazing staff. I have 51 ladies that work with me every day. And I'm going to let you know a little bit about them in a little bit. And also, I think you're going to get to know a little bit more about me today, Chris and Holly, things that you didn't know before and how I got here. Next slide, Miss Holly, please. Okay, so a little bit about who I am. Let's go to the second one. Yeah, I'm sorry. We had technical difficulties today too, but we did plan B, and I sent the slides to Holly so she could have them. But in this area, I'm not really very techy. So it was difficult for me to did my Google slides and then transfer them over. So, but who am I? I'm like Holly and Chris said, Emmy Lou Alvarez. I am a mother, first and foremost, a wife. Well, I guess I was a wife first because I've been married for 48 years, then a mother. So, but I am very passionate about early childhood. Was it always like that? No, of course not. It was something that I learned, and something that I learned in time, because I was given a life sentence as a child. I was given a life sentence by my father that I would not be anything, that I would not be good for anything, that I was not productive. I was not pretty. I was not going to be popular. I was never going to be enough. I was never going to be like anyone else. I was never going to study because we had no money. So it was something that I had to break through. That life sentence was something that I had to break the barriers of, because when you're given a life sentence, it's the patterns of being and acting that you develop to survive, or at least to get by. So we have to break away from those life sentences that are given to us as a young child so that we can continue to shape people and to shape our lives. Those are things that we think about when we break through and we start developing a team. Next slide, Holly. All right. When something that is very important for you to remember always is the ripple effect. And I tell this to the girls, and I have it in Spanish in our kitchen because I have a very diverse group, and I have this in Spanish. And when you throw a pebble in the water, I know you've seen this, that of course the motion continues and it affects all of the water around it. As leaders, we are the ones that are going to affect the culture of our program. This is what we're going to talk about today, is how do we create a culture of collaborators, and what takes our school or our program, because I know some of you aren't in school, some of you are collaborating with different agencies, some of you are starting your own consulting programs, some of you are going to be leading groups in FLACY someday, because we're hoping to find future leaders in this group also. So what takes us to create a culture of collaborators? What takes us to become a group of excellence? That's something that has to start from us. It definitely always has to start from us. So I want to go to Ms. Holly, the next slide. It begins with you, your energy, what you put forward, how you behave with the children that you love, the parents that you serve, how you act towards them and to them, how you develop everything that you do in your program. The difference in your program, the difference in your group is the culture that you create. This week, for example, I had a dad that came very upset to me because I did not want to take off the mask mandate here at the school. Again, I have 50 staff. Some of them have personal choices. They do not want to get vaccinated. I've respected their personal choice. I have 280 families that are coming in and out of the class, in and out of the school to drop their children off at the door, which I receive, and I transport them back to their classrooms. It's a big chore. So it's very difficult to control things. So I want to keep the mask on through this school year. Maybe in the summer I'll evaluate it again, but at least the staff, the families, the visitors will continue to wear masks. He was very irate with me. He was very upset. He told me that it wasn't fair, that if I hadn't heard what the governor said, that with this and that, and we sat down and I brought him into my office. And well, by the time he left, he's going to be fainting my parking lot this weekend because he just wants to help us out so much. It's just in the way you relate to the parents. It's in the way you talk to the parents. It's in the way you explain to them that we're doing everything we're doing in the best interest of the children. That comes with leadership wisdom. The years that you have been here, that I have been here, it has been very difficult. I've learned a lot of things. I've learned things in ways that I never thought would be brought to me. I've been here for 30 years as the director. So you can imagine all of the different cultures that have come through the school, the different demographics that have come through the school, the changes that have come through the school and the community. The challenges that we've faced this year is completely different from the challenges that we faced, but the leadership wisdom is very important. And that's part of these trainings. Is everything you get from these trainings and everything that you're going to get, and I'm sure you've said this to those that you lead already, because all of you I would consider leaders. Everything that you get, everything that you receive from trainings, take the best of them. Take the best of what you hear. Take the best of what comes to you, because that's what's going to stay with you. That's what's going to help you in the future. Your identity, your leadership identity is very important. You have to remember that right now you are a billboard for a leadership brand that you're building for the future. Your reputation is also very important. And then, like I said, the leadership brand. For me, going back to a child, it was very difficult to break through barriers. It was very, very, very difficult. I arrived at this country when I was 2 years old. I arrived with my little doll in my hand. My mom and dad came with me too. I remember seeing so many new faces, and I remember seeing so many new people. I remember seeing a lot of children crying. And I remember as a little girl thinking children shouldn't be crying that much. I remember that I loved to look at books. I didn't understand them because I spoke only Spanish and I didn't read, of course. I was only 3 years old. But I remember that I wasn't given much opportunity for books because we were not well off. We struggled a lot. My grandfather was we came when Fidel Castro took over. So we were uprooted from our home in the middle of the night, put in an airplane and brought to Cuba. We did not have any clothes with us. We had nothing with us. It was a very, very difficult trip. We got here and we were hosted by a family. When I was 9, my little sister was born. And when I was 10, my father left us and he remarried. My mother and I and my sister were homeless for 2 years. We struggled. I learned at that time a lot of things. I learned that I wanted to break my life sentences that I had heard already as a child. And I wanted to be someone. I wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. And I think it was, I don't remember your name from King's Kid. What is your name? Deborah? Is it Deborah? That said that she's a lifelong learner? No, it wasn't. It was,
It was Sharon. It was Sharon.
It's
Miller.
Sharon.
Sharon, thank
I
you,
just
Sharon.
updated her name for you.
Sharon, you said you were a lifelong learner, that you like to keep growing and you kept learning. Well, that's the way I feel I am. I feel that every day I learned something new. Every day. And I receive it with so much passion, and I receive it with so much, and I feel I'm still growing. I still feel that at this age, even at the age that I'm grooming my young girls like Dominique, my future talent, I feel that I'm still growing and I'm still learning something new every day. We had when Dad left, and like I said, my mom and I and my sister were living in a car. We were collecting stamps. I learned a lot. I learned about being a leader. I learned about being a leader because I took care of my little sister, was a latchkey child, and it was okay. I learned a lot of that. And then I learned at 14, at 14, I met the Alvarez family, which was my husband's family. So I married my husband at 16. That meant I left school. I left school completely. But this man and this family made me go back to school, made me find my brand. They made me find who I am. They made me help me go back and see what my passion was. And my passion was children. So that's when I went back to school. I finished high school, and when I went to college right away, and then I started having my little girls, and I found my school. I found CLC. At CLC, they saw that they wanted me to stay here for tenure. They wanted me to stay here for a long time. So they supported me and they helped me go through my my bachelor's and my master's. So they helped me with all of these areas that I felt was so important. So I needed to give back to them. I felt I needed to give back to them so much that they had given me. But it's been many, many years that we've evolved together, the school and the church, to make what we have right now, to make the amazing culture that we have right now. And that's something that we learn together as we grow. So definitely all of the areas that we put in, our wisdom, our identity, who we are, our leadership skills, and our brand, that's what's going to bring in the culture of your program. Next slide, Holly. Can I do it? Okay. The 5 Ps. What are the 5 Ps? I want you to remember 5 Ps. And that's super easy to remember because you're going to have a team, whether you're a director, whether you're a consultant, whether you're a lead teacher, you're going to be mentoring younger teachers, whether you are working with agencies and you're going to be out there in the field and you're going to be helping different schools. You're going to have a team that's going to be looking up to you. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to find that you have 5 Ps that you're going to put into your team. You're going to play with your team. You're going to pray with your team. You're going to party with your team. You're going to praise your team, and you're going to pay. Maybe we can't pay as much as we'd like to, but they can know that we're advocates for fair pay. They can know that you're out there in groups like FLACY, in groups like NAYC, that you're advocates for fair pay. Play with your staff. Many directors have found that they don't want to be too friendly with their staff. When they leave the school, they don't want to associate with their staff, or they don't want to associate with their team. I don't mean go out and make a party outside every weekend. I mean, enjoy each other. I like to laugh with my staff. I have a sense of humor. I laugh a lot. It's what's kept me going through this pandemic. It's what's kept us going for 30 years together. I have very little turnover in staff. I have staff that have been with me for 28 years. I have my assistant, which just became my assistant this year, which is now is my pedagogical administrator, according to NAYC portfolio, has been with me for 30 years. My daughter has joined my team as my office manager and my finance manager. And she's 40 now. So she's with me. And my kindergarten teacher is also been with me for 28 years. So my staff, what do I offer them? I don't know, because I don't pay wonderful, but we do enjoy each other. We enjoy each other's company. We like to play together. We like to laugh together. We enjoy each other. I know that when they're down, they come to me and I'll give them something up. Like Chris says, even if the door is closed, they know that I'm here. So they'll come in and they'll call me, and I'll always try to bring them up in some way, because we work in a very difficult industry. So we always have to keep each other going. We always have to keep each other up. Pray, I am in a Christian school, but it is not a non-sectarian school, so that we do not pray in the school every day, but I do enjoy letting them know that I value pray. I value praying. I do believe in the power of prayer. I have seen it in my own life. I have seen it this past week when I thought I was never going to get that NAYC portfolio done in time. I can tell you that I prayed hard. I prayed every morning, every night. And I even asked one second, I just lost it. And I said, please, just help me get, even if I have to fabricate something, help me to fabricate it in the right way, figure it out in which way I'm going to do it so that I can get through this. But it was, you do pray with your staff, and they come to you when they need you and they know you're there. Again, party. We have parties here. We are a party people. Of course, we're mostly Latin Americans. I have a diverse staff, but I have to tell you, I have from Costa Rica, I have from Venezuela, I have from Argentina, I have a lot of Cuban Americans. I have Americans that are born here, Anglos, I have African American. I have a diverse staff. And I have Philippines. My Filipina loves to dance, merengue. So we love to party, and we have a big room in the center of the school, and I have music going all the time in the morning and in the afternoon. I have my Alexa in there, and if I walk in and there's no music going, I will turn it on. But we're going to party. We're going to have a good time, because we need to remember those 5 P's, and then praise them. Praise your team. Praise your staff. If you can't catch all of them, because it's very difficult for me to do 50, what I do is I take 10 a week, and then I either leave them video messages, either leave them voice messages, either leave them a little memo inside next to their cubby in their classroom, either leave a message in their classroom. But I take 10 of them a week. That way, every week there's 10 that I reach out to, and nobody gets away from me. It's very important to touch and always continue doing that. It's a lot of effort, but it's very important to keep doing that. Pearls of wisdom, I like to give them little pearls. We have a pearl tree in the teacher's lounge, and each pearl has a little saying, and we have the pearl, and they pick the pearl, and there's a pearl of wisdom, and they can share it with another staff. So you pass the pearls, and there's a lot of ways that you can engage the staff and continue to make sure that you keep your team going, keep your team knowing how valuable they are to you. And then, of course, pay. Like I said, I am not the owner. I am the director of a program owned by the church. I manage the daily operations. I have been managing the daily operations for 30 years. This is a business above all, and childcare is a business above all. And they make me remember that. And but I also need to remind them that fair pay, and I always have to include it in the budget, and I have to let the staff know that I'm fighting for them. I'm fighting for them. They all have health insurance. They all have dental. They all have They have as much benefits as they can. They have not just 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon of break, but they have 45 minutes throughout the day of breaks. So I'm continuously fighting for my staff to get them fair benefits and equitable pay. So that's something you have to remember. But those 5 P's, I always remember, and it's etched in my mind always. Those are so important for us to keep together so that we can continue to work with our staff and have and build that culture we want at the end. Next slide, Miss Holly. Teachers. My teachers are very important. The teachers are not happy, the children will not be happy. I always say that. If it's like mama's not happy if nothing goes well at home. Well, if the teachers aren't happy, the children are not happy. If the children aren't happy, the parents are not happy. And if the parents are not happy, the school does not succeed. Help your teachers understand that you're helping them grow. Give them opportunities to be leaders also. Give them opportunities to do webinars, to practice. We're very excited because in June, and I extend an invitation to you all to Miami. We're going to be here at my school on June 26th. We're having our pop-up symposium, our pop-up summit is going to be right here at the school. So, and Holly found a great place. I didn't help her, I apologize for that. But Holly found a great place close to the school, and she's gonna be spending the night, and the next day we can come here, do our summit, and then we can go celebrate. So if you're in the mood to come to Miami, come and visit me. My teachers are gonna be very involved. They're going to all be very, very involved, and they're gonna play a part in the summit. One way or another, they're going to be playing a part in the summit, and they know that I expect them to grow as leaders. We love the second picture. The first picture is, of course, our little meetings. We do a lot of we try to get together as much as possible this year because of COVID. And it is difficult to get together. We don't get together as much as we do, but we do find the time to get together. And of course, when we get together, there's always the Cuban coffee in the house. We always have that Cuban coffee maker ready. The second picture was at the FLACY conference 2 years ago, which was a fun picture. And I took 14 of my staff with me, but this is just 5 of us there. The third one, we did a webinar with the Children's Forum. And I had 2 of my staff that I asked to lead the webinar, and they did a great job. So give them leadership opportunity. Give them the leadership opportunities that I know that you have cultivated already in the people around you. Because if you're here on this call and you're here in this summit, then in this LEAP project of FLACY's, then I know that you already have that leadership initiative in you. My advice always is to surround yourself with talented people who will challenge you and help you grow and inspire you to maximize your potential. If I'm feeling down, and of course I'm only human and I'm not getting younger, I'm depending on people like Dominique, people like girls like these girls that are coming up, and I call them my rays of sunshine, that come in the afternoon and they give me that smile, and Miss Sammy, let's do this, Miss Sammy, let's do that, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Miss Sammy doesn't want to get older, so Miss Sammy jumps off her chair and let's go, let's do it. Depend on your team to keep you going. Depend on your team to maximize your potential, to get yourself energized and going to it. My Cuban accent is coming out, I apologize. So next slide, Holly. The families. I know some of you are not in centers, but some of you are, but the families you serve is very important. Get to know your families. This year with COVID, I don't know if it happened to you, Sharon. I don't know if it happened to you, Dominique. I know you're in a center too. Deborah's in Head Start. So I know a lot of you work directly with families. I'm not sure if it happened to you, but this year I got to know my families even better. As a director and with so many children in my school, I gave them my cell phone. So yeah, big mistake. But but I did get to know my families, and they did get to know that I was here, and I could ease their, whatever concerns they had, that I would answer the phone for them, or I would take their text, or I would answer their text. It's very important, but it's very important to keep a reciprocal relationship with your families. Make sure that they're heard. Make sure that they know that you're looking out for their child, but you're also listening to their concerns, and that you're going to try to do what you can. And if you don't have the response they need at the moment, you're going to find the response they need. But the families in your program, or the families you reach out to, is very important. Ms. Holly, next slide. Okay, now, one thing that a lot of program leaders think is that we're different. You know what? We're not. We're all in this together. One challenge in leading a program is that you think your situation is different. Your location, your demographics, your parent body, your teaching talent, your budget, that may be different. But when it comes to problems, when it comes to staffing, when it comes to situations that you're going to run into, we're all working with children, and we're all working with families. We're all working with delicate issues. So each program may be different, but we have inside the same situations. So we're really not that different. We're really very much so. My program is in the middle of Kendall. It's in an area that is very, it's an affluent area. And I have primarily, of my 280, I have probably half are part-time. So right now I have a group that's leaving. I have a group that leaves at 12. I have a group that leaves at 12:30. I have another group that leaves at 1, another group that leaves at 1:30. And then I have my kindergartners that leave at 2:30. And then the rest are here till 6 o'clock for the childcare area, the childcare component. So really everybody's thinking, hey, that's the same as me. I was talking to another director yesterday in Orlando, that I sent one of my girls is moving to Orlando. One of my best teachers is moving to Orlando at the end of the summer. And I wanted to find her a job. I wanted to find her a good place. So I put her in contact with the director over there. She went to meet with her yesterday, and she was telling me about her program. And I'm like, it's the same. That's why, it's really, we have the same setup. What's different is the culture. What is the culture of your program? What is the culture, that the environment? What is it that what you have built in your program? And that's what we're going to talk about now. The environments, how important it is to think about the environment that you bring into a program. So when we go to the next slide, I want you to think while I'm talking, and I want you to think of a toxic environment. And in the chat room, I want you to write something that you feel is toxic, or something that you feel would bring down an environment, such as tardiness, one staff that's always tardy, one staff that's always coming late, arguments between staff, gossip, that person that's always on the phone, that phoner, the one that doesn't want to give up the phone, that she walks into the office on the phone and she leaves on the phone. Bad attitudes. Yes, Holly. Difference in philosophy. But toxic, think of toxic. Definitely bad attitudes is one that we've been dealing with. Ego. Someone with a very, someone with an overextended ego, also narcissist, a person that feels that that's, I guess, a lack of communication within staff. Yes, which happens a lot. Lack of communication, lack of point of view, a dirty environment, non-communicative approach. Yes, communication is difficult. People who refuse to embrace change because we've done it that way, that's old school. And it's hard. It's very hard, Katie. Like I have veteran staff, and I can tell you it's very difficult. And I found it again. I came across it this week when we did when we finished the portfolios. not a team player, definitely. When we finished the portfolios, that they were still thinking in ways that we had thought about 10 years ago when we did the portfolios 10 years ago. You know, we had already done them 5 years ago, but this year we were streamlining with the new 2019 criteria. And I'm like, oh my, they're still thinking in like old ways, and we need to break that. We definitely have to think of what's new, what's cutting edge. And that's what things like our organization, like Lacey, making them join, you know, like I really love to encourage them to join organizations. And if they tell me, Miss Emmy, I'm going to join, I'll pay half of it. I'll pay, if you don't have the $30 to start, I'll pay the $30 for you. I've taken that out of my pocket to pay for them to start. So things like that are things that we can do, but toxic destroys a program. Team playing destroys a program. That they're not a team player is very difficult. You find that a lot, and there's always going to be one. I have a rogue teacher, I call her. She's my rogue teacher, and I adore her. She's wonderful. I know she's great with the kids, but she's not the best with the rest of the team. And I try not to show her favoritism. I know she's awesome, and I know she's great, but she's leading unfortunately, she sabotages herself because she is not a team player. And that's absolutely right, Deborah. They sabotage themselves. How do we help them as leaders not to do that? It's very difficult. Do you have one like that, Deborah? Mm-hmm. All right, next slide, Miss Holly. Hey, Judy, welcome. The next culture that you can find besides the toxic culture that you never want to have is the passive culture. Nothing changes, nothing improves, nothing inspires. It's just there. It's just there. Nothing. From passive to comfortable, there's not much difference. There's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing to reinvent these teachers. You can't get your team motivated for anything. Oh, well, let her do it. Oh, well, let's do that. The way I broke through that was giving each group, like I said, we have 25 classrooms. So from
put your head the other way.
So from 1 through 8, I have pre-K. And then I have kindergarten, and then 1 through 6, six classrooms of toddlers. So I had my 3 toddler teachers, my 3 younger Todd teachers prepare every month. Each teaching group has to prepare a project, and the whole school becomes involved in the project. So it's really like it gets everyone involved. It gets everyone excited about something, and they could take it from a book. Maybe it's a book that we read in the classroom that we want to continue to grow and maybe scaffold from that book. And we could do it from a study. Maybe we're doing the pipe studies we're doing from Creative Curriculum, and we're working with pipes. So we've been able to put pipes all over the school, and it's really cool. So everyone gets involved. The parents get involved. They bring us things to add. Last month was gardening. So we did beautiful gardening work, and we even had the declaration of the week of the young child in one of the gardens that the classrooms prepared. So it was really nice. I had my South Florida Collaborative group here, and we had the declaration at the prayer at the secret garden, the children call it. So it's really cool. So, but you get each group to get inspired and start doing things, because the last thing you want is to have that passive culture. Nothing is going to change. And if she doesn't do it, why am I going to do it? Oh, if I'm not going to do it because the other one's not going to do it. So that's where you want to kick out of it. And you know, the only way you're going to do it is by you starting it. So don't wait for your neighbor to do it. If you're in the classroom and you know that, you know, or if you're a director, pick one person that you know you can count on and say, hey, you kick it, you change it. You let them know that you can start this, and you can start inspiring, because there's capacity for everyone in this industry of ours to grow and to change. I tell directors all the time, your teachers are going to look for you to be leaders, and they're going to look for you to join organizations, to become speakers, to look out for them in advocacy. You can't wait for someone else to do it. It has to be you. That's the biggest thing. Why isn't my staff motivated? Why isn't my staff doing anything new? Well, you know what? If they don't see the leader, if they don't see the director or the team leader or the manager or the owner or the person that's in charge of that group doing it, they're not going to follow. So that's what the leader role is, because you're cultivating those people. You want them to follow you, and you want them to continue and and not just follow you, but to pass you so that they can continue that. That's what you're trying to build here. Next slide, Miss Holly. So, did we go to, okay, collaborative culture. You're trying to create that collaborative culture, that culture that you know that everyone has talent. Everyone in the school has talent. Everyone around you has something that they learned maybe as a child when they were given that life sentence that they said, I'm going to break away from, something that they learned when they were preparing their affirmations at night, something that they learned when they were praying in the morning. Everyone has something to share. The only thing is that sometimes we're scared to share. When I started at FLACY many years ago, actually it was not FLACY. I started at SFAUIC. When we were still in the old format that we had like a zillion affiliates all over Florida. It was very difficult for me to share. It was very difficult for me to talk. I felt like I was not smart enough. I felt like I was not pretty enough. I felt like I was too old to start getting into this. So it was very hard. It was just people around me, one person actually that took me by the hand and said, hey, I want to learn from you. I want to learn this from you. And I thought, how can you want to learn from me? You have a PhD, and this person said to me, no, I want to learn from you. That's what that person is waiting for. That person next to you, that Deborah, when you walk in to do your consultations at your regional offices, that's what that person is waiting for you. They're waiting for you to say to them, I want to learn from you. I want to know what you need, because that's all it's going to take for them to open up and blossom. We need to give our staff and the team we lead and the people around us an opportunity to know that they have every moment. They don't have to be scared about speaking up. They can choose bravery. They can choose to talk, and they have the power to choose. And you have to make them comfortable. You have to empower your staff to do that, just like we empower our children, because I know that in my classroom, I would always empower my little ones. When I had a challenging child in the classroom, I would ask the other children, let's work together. Let's see how we can help this. Let's see how we can help him feel strong enough to put away that behavior, because he's not a bad boy. He just likes to do things that are not good. So let's empower our staff to ask questions, to seek help, and not to feel embarrassed about seeking help. I can tell you sometimes my staff loves to do professional development, and we're blessed because we have a lot of opportunities for professional development, and our staff has a lot of opportunity for professional development. And I see them involved, and I'm in workshops or I'm in conferences, and all of a sudden I hear them asking questions, and I'm like, wow, they ask such great questions, and they ask such amazing questions. They know the difference between a workshop that is not so good and a workshop that is so well. That's why they love the NAYC, they love the FLAEYC conferences, they look forward to it. What a difference between the workshops that they have daily available to them to our conferences, and the caliber of so that's what you want your staff to seek, that caliber of a much more challenging workshops or challenging informationals. Next slide, Ms. Holly. At the end, you're empowering your staff to do better. You're empowering your staff to do great, but you're also always knowing that culture always wins. Next slide, Holly. Okay. We have the opportunity. No, I want the one with the culture. with the 5 position statements. Yes, that one. The 5 position statements. NAEYC has 5 position statements. And if you think about the 5 position statements of NAEYC, and I hope you guys are all into the NAEYC page as much as I am. I mean, I know that page front to back. If you ever need, you know, where am I going to find this, whatever, just email me, I'll let you know. But there's wonderful 5 position statements, developmentally appropriate practice, which we just, there's a symposium right now. And if it's a great symposium on DAP, the new statements. Professional standards, competencies for early child educators, our code of ethics, which is something that we should all live by, which is something that I would love for FLACY to present next, something on code of ethics, because I think professionalism in early childhood is amazing. NAEYC early childhood program standards are 10 standards and how it's divided and how we look at each one, and advancing equity, which is the newest of the position statements, advancing equity in early childhood education. I had the great opportunity of doing that, presenting that workshop at the FLAYC conference with Katie Camp, and it was wonderful, and how culture always wins. Each time a group of people spend a significant amount of time together, they develop a set of expectations. These expectations are unwritten within the group. That's where team playing comes in. The philosophy, knowing that we're all in this together, that comes in. Understanding that if she's not going to do it, I'm going to do it first. It takes the whole wheel of all of the position statements together to definitely understand that we have that core value, the core values and the basic values of early childhood and what we want to present to our team. Next slide, Miss Holly. Okay, basic values and core values. I know that you have thought of this many times, and I know that as early childhood leaders and as early childhood teachers, early childhood directors, people that are out in the field, consultants, you have thought of your basic values, your core values. So I challenged my staff to write, which we're going to go afterward. We're going to talk about it in a minute, a charter. We talked about writing a charter, but we wanted to write a charter for all of us as director. I wanted to write one for myself as a director, and I wanted to talk about our basic values. What were our core values? And this is and I took this from the position statements of NAEYC, especially from the ethical one, from the code of ethics. And it's appreciate childhood as a unique, valuable stage of human life cycle. That's so important to remember. We need to appreciate this stage that they're in, this stage that our children are in. What an awesome responsibility we have to take these children that are not ours and mold them in these 9 months. Sometimes we have them for 3 years. In my case, I have 2s, 3s, 4s. After kindergarten, sometimes I've had these children here for 5 years, and we have this time together, and we have to appreciate this life cycle that this child are in, and we have to continue to value this stage and this little life that's been given to us. Base our work on the knowledge of how children develop and learn developmentally appropriate practice. What is developmentally appropriate practice? We have to get to know that, and we have to instill that in our staff so that our staff is definitely advocating and professing, and each day practicing developmentally appropriate practicing, understanding the role of the family, understanding what the child is capable of at the age that they're capable of, understanding the culture of the family. That's all developmentally appropriate practice. Appreciate and support the bond between the family and the child. That's so important that we need to let the staff know that this is what builds a team. All of these core values is what builds a team. Appreciate the support between the child and the family. Mom and dad, or mom and child, or mom and mom, or dad and dad, whatever it is, you have to appreciate and understand that the child has a connection with each person in the family. So we have to understand that we're going to support that, whatever it is. If today Bambi is with dad and tomorrow Bambi's with her other dad, then we have to be able to make sure that we support both dads, and we have to support Bambi because she's in the middle of that. So that's something that I always instill in my staff. Recognize that children are better understood and supported. Of course they are. That's part of in our standards, one of the things that is emotionally healthy right now more than ever. And more than ever, I feel the children are going to need next year, and I see it because I see new children coming in, and I worry. I don't know if you've thought of it, but I've worried for the children that are leaving kindergarten and going to first grade, or the children that are going into kindergarten in schools that are not early childhood or not NAEYC accredited or not with the mentality of a leader or a team leader that is early childhood. What are those children going to do after a year of being home on computers? Those children are not going to be ready. They're not going to be emotionally or socially ready. So we need to recognize that children are better understood when they're supported. So we need to continue with the social and emotional. I am so excited about our summits because that's what it's all about. Play is fundamental. The children we have to throw away everything else, and we have to realize that the children are better understood in the context of their family, their cultures, their community, and their society. But we also have to understand that this year, more than ever, they're going to need that emotional and social support. Respect the dignity, value, uniqueness of each child, family, and colleague. I know we are a diverse Florida. We are a melting pot. We have a lot of different cultures, and we have a lot of different beliefs. We have a lot of different backgrounds. I, for one, can tell you that my girls are, like I said, different nationalities, different socioeconomic. I have veteran teachers and I have not so veteran teachers. I have young girls. I have interns that are coming from Miami-Dade public schools. And then I have also interns that are coming from, and I did accept them this year. I did accept them this year with masks and everything. And I put them in the classrooms, and they're all different. We're all completely different, and we have to respect them. That's part of the code of conduct, our ethical code of conduct. And how many of you have taken the course from NAEYC on the ethics, the code of conduct? Good, Dominique, awesome. I think it's amazing. I think that we should all do it, and maybe that's something that we can look in for us, because I think that every time, I don't know about you, but every time I join a summit, or every time I join a conference, or every time I join a professional development team, I cringe when I hear when I hear the lack of respect for the person that is speaking, the lack of respect for the person that is just organizing. And we're all in this together. We all have those basic values, and we all have the core values, but it's just the ethics that we have to remember. Why do we have to start with the norms? Yes, we explain the norms. It's shot out the window, excuse me, because I would cringe sometimes. I teach a Spanish class. I don't want to be stereotypical. I know my Spanish people. I'm Cuban. I'm loud. I'm very much a Cuban American, but more very, very, very much Cuban. And you don't want to see me angry. And Judy knows that. And I can tell you that I teach a Spanish class on Saturdays, finance and entrepreneur with another group. And when I see these women just going on and chatting and talking about each other on the chat room and doing this and doing that, it's like, I cringe. I'm like, oh, yeah. How can we be there? But it's not just that group. I've seen it in other groups too. I was in another conference. It was a mini conference a couple of weeks ago, and I saw the same thing. And I thought, how can we not understand that that's just not right? And I think that that's something that we really need to remind ourselves, because we have to respect everyone. We have to respect the value of the uniqueness of each person, but we have to start with respect and the diversity in our children, our families, and our colleagues. We're all different. We come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. We come from different cultures. What we bring together is the basic. And what we can pull out from each person is the passion. So definitely when we did get together to write our charter, I wanted to put a charter that started with commitment. Ms. Holly, go to my slide. Okay. I wanted to start a chart. I wanted to write a charter with my staff. So I asked them to give me just one word or one sentence and we put it together. But then I decided, okay, after they did that, I'm going to write a charter for myself. And I wanted to share the charter with you because I think it's important that as facilitators or as team leaders or as program leaders, we are also aware that we have a commitment. And your staff needs to know that. So this charter, I put all of their charters on frames and it's in their classrooms as the parents walk in, which the parents can't walk in this year, but it's still in their classrooms because God bless them. They prepared their parents' bulletin boards as if the parents were walking in. Everyone has prepared all of that. And so we have all of the, everybody has their charter. And then my charter is a facilitator that empowers and cultivates future leaders in our world as a visionary leader in early childhood. I see the endless possibilities within our profession. I was blessed as I was growing as a professional, as a teacher, as a director, as in my field with curriculum, in my field with different areas of CLC and the early childhood community, to have wonderful mentors. And I thought my first director, Jonah Ferrante, was a visionary leader. Rhonda Conway, Muriel Long-Wondrum. I found these women to be my leaders and I felt they were visionary. Beverly Tate, rest in peace. They were my leaders and they were my visionary leaders and I wanted to follow them. So I feel now my staff is looking at me to lead. I provide a positive environment for my children, their family, my staff that offers equity and is free of bias in a place created with passion, integrity, authenticity, and competency. I call this passion, integrity, authenticity, and competency. Passion, equality, authenticity, and competence. You can also remind yourself like that. You could call it peak to remind yourself. I'm not a fast learner. So I need to put different acronyms. So peak, passion, integrity, authenticity, and competency. Authenticity especially. I tell the girls all the time, this is who I am. This is who I am. And this is how I've learned. And I've learned through my life and I've struggled through my life. But it's made me better for it. I endlessly work. I advocate and mentor to my elite early childhood staff, elite, enlightened leaders in total empowerment. That's what I call my staff. My elite early childhood staff developed a professional pathway leading to a degreed lead teacher in each classroom with adequate compensations. That's taking me a little longer than I thought, but it's okay. We'll get there. I endlessly work with my staff to establish an environment that will attract, retain high quality educators that at this critical time and stage, the early brain development promises to enable future success. That's in my mission. My mission has, this verbiage is taken a lot from the mission of the school. We are a consortium of early childhood professionals that live by the philosophy of learning with play activities, along with our developmentally appropriate practice using a research-based curriculum. We use the creative curriculum, which has 38 objectives of research-based. It is a research-based curriculum. So we are, and all of us here are early childhood professionals, and all of us here are living with the philosophy of learning through play, playing to learn. So it's really something that we can take from this. A legacy in our community for over 30 years. I continue to provide for young children a safe and high quality early childhood program in a safe and high quality early childhood program that includes developmentally appropriate practice curriculum tied to the state standards and AYC accreditation, gold seal in early childhood. I am a phenomenon. Yes, affirmations. You're absolutely right. Affirmations are important because that's the only thing that keeps us going. I am, oh yeah. I am a phenomenon. I will be heard. I will be seen. I will be part of the difference, and I will give power to the profession, because that is something that we have to always have in front of us. We have to give power to our profession. I'd like you to put in the chat your affirmation, your own affirmation. I am fantastic. I am ambitious. I am amazing. Give me an affirmation right now. I am worthy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are investable, like Miss Chris used to say, Miss Chris's favorite. She learned last year. I am brave. Awesome. I love that one. I am brave. I am daring. I am fearless. And maybe, Holly, we could also afterwards, with all these, I am bold. We can do one of those, I'm a collaborative change of agent. Yes, yes, we are. We are change makers. We are definitely change makers. We're change agents. We are trustworthy. We're valuable. We're agents. Push through anything. I'm effective. Oh, yes. And that's what people are looking for. Early childhood professional, definitely. I am funny. I'm extraordinary. I am heroic. I am positive. We are so many things, and we continue to say that to ourselves, and we continue to love ourselves. I am kind. Definitely. I am kind. I'll give you a couple of seconds more because I know you guys are thinking, and it's so easy to say. I am creative. I am an imaginative. I am clever. I'm self-assured. It took me a long time to get there, but I am self-assured now. I am confident. Yes. I have a Brunel, Dominique. I have a Brunel here, and Natalie Brunel and her mom, Jessie Brunel. I am an influencer. Yes. Judy, I love you. You're my hero. I think you're amazing. I am loyal. Awesome. Great. Uh-oh. All right. Next slide, Miss Holly. Uh-oh. I am competent. I am missing a staff member. I just got a call from one of my office staff that one of my nooners hasn't, my 1 o'clockers hasn't arrived. I'm like, okay, I'm missing a staff member. So with everything that we are, everything that we have been, everything that we were, we are creating. What are we creating in our programs? We're creating a school of excellence. We're creating a culture of excellence. We're creating a culture that will continue long after we're gone. Right now, I am in the stage of, I'm not in the exiting stage yet, but I am in the stage of starting to cultivate my future leaders, my future, the ones that will stay behind when I leave, so that this continues to be a legacy in the area, because this school is a legacy in the Kendall area. It is loved by many people, and it is cared for by and looked after. So what are you creating in where you work? What are you creating in your area right now? You have to think about that, and you have to think about, how am I showing that? How am I showing that when I go around? How am I cultivating that in my staff? So my staff will be the collaborative staff that is always sharing, that collaborative staff that is always speaking up, that is always asking for new things, new programs, that are not afraid to speak up and say, hey, let's try it this way. Hey, let's do it that way. Why don't we try, and speak up at a staff meeting and share, or speak up at a professional development and say, it can be done this way too, because there's a lot of spaces, a lot of places, a lot of professors and a lot of higher end sometimes turn us off, or sometimes scare us. But everyone wants to learn something new and everyone needs to learn something new. So definitely you want to cultivate that in your staff. You want to make sure that your staff is aware of that. So I know that each one of you are in a different stage of your life right now. And each one of you is in a different position in your life right now. But this is something that you're all looking forward to, because as lifelong learners, as the head of quality assurance, as a lead teacher in a Head Start program, as a lead behaviorist, as different, having years and years of 20 years as being a director at a center, in special ed, different organizations that you reach out to. I know that each one of you want to leave behind. Hey, Miss Judy was here 6 years ago, and this is her mentality. Miss Terry was here. Miss Deborah was here. Oh, Miss Dominique left this for us. I remember she used to do this, and this is how that's the legacy you want to leave when you create that collaborative team. I think I ended too quickly. I spoke too soon, and I didn't listen to any of the advice that Chris gave me. I'd like to have you share your experiences with me of your team and where you are right now with your team. Let me see all of you. Hi, Kami. How are you? Hi, Judy. Hi, Deborah. Katie, where's your daughter? Your little girl, she's in school?
She's in kindergarten right now. But I did just get her school photo.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
How beautiful.
You've got like 5 more days of kindergarten left.
Just so y'all know what I told Emmy Lou, and now it's y'all's chance to show her I was right, that you all have lovely ideas and good conversation, and you want to discuss things, and you are all leaders, and it's been very rich discussion. So you now have the rest of the session to discuss and to talk about your ideas. And Emmy Lou, you're right. I did learn a lot more about you than I ever knew. And I will tell you, one of the joys I'm looking forward to when we get back to a face-to-face conference is to watch the Miami ladies dance. These ladies love to dance. And Emmy Lou is my queen of the dancers. So just know that when we get back to face-to-face, we will have our DJ and we will be dancing. Just know that, So
yes.
anyway,
We always put a theme around our dance. Last time we had pajamas with PJ the DJ. So, we have to do different themes, but definitely it's going to be exciting. But I do know that you are all in a journey and you just started, and you've been talking to Shwanda and Flora. And today I shared a little bit of me, but I want to hear about you. What are you looking forward to? And where are you right now in this leadership journey?
jump in, ladies. Don't be shy.
First, I just want to say thank you so much for this session. I really appreciate you for sharing like a lot of your personal journey from the beginning. It really resonated with me. So I don't think I'm answering your question, but I have a question to ask you.
Of course.
So how do you help your staff to understand like the different backgrounds, to not only understand, but to value the different backgrounds and experiences of students that you serve?
Well, it's hard to understand. Everyone has a lot of backward implicit and biases or things that stay with them, and it's very natural, especially with the culture I have of my staff, for them to jump in and say something very flip or very like, oh look at this one or whatever, and so we have to always come back to respect. Again, I use a lot of the NAEYC words. I throw the code of ethics a lot at them. I throw the respect for the families, respect for the children. If I see something, I talk to them one-on-one and I let them know. I see that today when he came in, you kind of like used this slang word. I want you to realize, that's definitely not something that's not respectful. You can use that at home. You can use that in your family, because let's face it, we are here working, but you're not going to be using it here at the school. It's very difficult. I had Raquel Diaz, which is one of my, she's on the board of FLAUIC, but she's a dear, dear friend, and she's one of my mentors, my leaders. I'm much older than her. I could be her mother, but no, not really. I could be her older sister, maybe. But she is amazing. And she did for us the elephant in the room. It was a workshop called The Elephant in the Room. And we talked about just that. We talked about explaining how to address different cultural issues or having respect for each other and for the families in our program, especially when we had such diverse families. So it was a great workshop, and it did talk about that, and it was called, and she called it just that, the elephant in the room. And but it is a difficult one, it's a tricky one, but I deal with each situation as it comes up. Do you run a center right now, Kanye?
No, I don't run a center. I actually work, my role is more like support. So I work as like a coach for an early, for an education nonprofit that's based in, I headquarters is in Minnesota, but we serve students in Broward and Miami-Dade.
Okay.
I noticed that's something that comes up with some of the AmeriCorps members I work with. Like they may not necessarily be from the communities in which they serve, and helping them to understand like what you mentioned, like, that's not okay to say.
It's not. And it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to stop them because that's what they're used to. I have a loud one here, very loud. And like when I hear her, Nina, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're going out there. But it's just, you have to catch them. Yeah, you have to catch one at a time. Yeah. Anyone else?
But I was just thinking about that, Emilu. I think, Cami, just thinking about it, I think it's also the courage to address it when you see it.
Yeah.
In a respectful way. Just as you want them to respect, you need to respect them. Don't do it in front of everybody, but have a private moment.
Right.
And where you're going to do that. You're going to talk about it. And I think that's what the elephant in the room is. You can't leave it standing there. You've got to address it somehow or another. When you say, Emilu?
Yeah, that definitely. You have to attack it at the moment. Definitely. Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you too. And I want to be you when I grow up, please. I think when you said, what are you creating? And I put change in the chat. I think for me, at my center right now, my leadership journey, I've been here since we've cut the school ribbon open, and I'm the last person left from the beginning. And then we've lost like 40 something employees. And I think that really speaks to leadership. But also I stay here because I believe in this school. I believe in the mission. I believe in what it could be. But also I want to create change for those around me who aren't necessarily getting the opportunities that others are getting because of like a degree or not having a degree. And so for me, in February, I lost my co-teacher of 4 years, but it was sad for me, but it has opened so many doors for me personally because I haven't been putting myself first. And I think it's so important because I'm working with someone right now who is like me. They're in school. We don't have our bachelor's degree yet, but all the teachers at our school have to have a bachelor's degree to be a lead teacher. And we work with 5 different organizations at my school, and all of the organizations came together and said, yes, we want Dominique to be the lead teacher, and I don't have a degree. So I think that was really awesome. And I really want to encourage the people that I'm working with who really want that goal. I want to be like, look, I did it, you can do it too. And, put the work in. People don't realize because they're not praised all the time, I feel like, that what they're doing matters. Like what you're doing matters, and your passion shows through when people come to observe you or do anything. And I think sometimes we forget that. And I think when you were talking about authenticity, I think that is like the number one thing. Like I always tell my babies, like I'm in a 1-year-old room, but I'm like, be you, you're not your brother, you're your own person. And I think for us to instill that even at a young age, it's going to help those little ones who are really loud. And it's like, well, they want to be a leader, like she's loud and she always wants to sit in the front. And it's like, she's a leader. That was me, I'm like, I really support that, and then make them leaders in the classroom. But I think like when you were talking about how you're a director and everything, I think at my school is we don't see a lot of change happening. We're all like, we want to do this, we want to do this. And us, the teachers, are doing it, but we're not seeing it from the administrative side. And so I think I'm going to kind of sneakily do this, I think, but I want to, like how you were talking about the elephant in the room. I think it would be cool to like go around each classroom, maybe have a teacher put like, what's one thing you want to see change at our school, and like make it anonymous. And then maybe bring that to my director. I just want to know, as a director, like, how would you feel about that? Like, I feel like personally, if I was a director, I feel like, okay, that's like good to know, but it's also like not, you know?
Is your director approachable? Can you
He's
speak to
he's a
her?
guy. He's
he's a
actually
guy, okay.
yeah, he's a guy, and he's very approachable. I would say that he does everything that he possibly can, but
Okay.
he's very scattered brain person. So I think, you know, when you are talking to him, he's not like directly, his attention and focus is not necessarily right on you.
Okay.
So sometimes when he comes and talks to me, he'll start talking to my kids in my classroom, but I'm like, hey, I was talking to you. So I feel like a lot of the teachers maybe feel like they can't talk to him. So I feel
Do
like
you have staff meetings, or do you have a little meetings?
we
that you can bring
do,
it up that you
but
can
now they're virtual. Now
Okay.
we're doing virtual staff meetings at nap time, kind of like how we're doing this right now. On Thursdays, we do them during nap, and they're only 30
So
minutes.
can you offer him, like, for example, ask him, can I start this? Maybe, do this, and each teacher does, let him know that you're going to start it,
Yeah,
that you're going to do it. That way it's not taken out of, like you're going to go over his head, or you're going to start something that he's, just so that he knows, I can help you with this. Why don't we get this started?
Yeah.
I would take the idea like that. I think he would take it better this way.
yeah. I was thinking of just like doing it with him, like a collaborative thing. I guess
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
definitely.
you can also blame it or say that the leadership course has taught you this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
I want
and that this is something that you've learned from the leadership course and you would like to try it
right.
and see how this works. And you
Blame
want to
it
work
on
within
us.
his system, but you say you heard it from Emmy Lou.
Yeah, definitely.
You got this idea from a trainer and you
Yeah.
thought, what would this look like? But blame us,
I
so it's not
always,
on you.
I always talk to our professional development specialist. She was actually the director here at one point, and now she's our professional development specialist. She's my mentor. Her name's Susan Weber. I'm not sure if you've heard of her before, but she's pretty high up there in early childhood. And I feel like she always asks me, she always checks on me to make sure I'm on the class. And she's like, are you good? Do you need to leave the classroom? And I'm like, I'm good, I'm fine. But so maybe if I bring it up with her, and then maybe we can make a plan, because she does that with me a lot, to kind of because the staff's very comfortable with me, I think, because I'm a leader, so they're like, come to me a lot. So I think that maybe we could start change that way. I just don't, like I said, I don't want it to be like, if I was a director, I don't know how I would feel if someone was like, hi, this is how everyone's feeling, and maybe he's gonna feel overwhelmed. So I was just curious.
Right, or
But
make
that's
it a game, like you could do it in a fishbowl, have everyone put in we have a huge fishbowl, and you can pull it out when you sit down for a virtual session or a virtual meeting. You can pull it out, and you don't have to say, maybe they don't want to write their names.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like
but
anonymous.
you can pull it out of the fishbowl, and it'll help that, and you
Okay.
can make it a little bit less forthcoming. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Deborah, how are you doing in didn't you have a new position?
No, I'm getting ready to, and I'm getting ready to move from doing what I've been working with Head Start for 32 years, and I'm now going into retirement, but then creating my consulting business.
That was it, the
Mhm.
consultant.
Yes, I am so very excited. I've reached out and worked this year, kind of launched it off, so it's going very good. I really resonated well with the legacy. What have I left in 32 years? And I look back on where I'm at now, and most of the policies it's like they really listen to my experience and my ideas. And I always wanted to create more of a yes environment in the classrooms rather than, directive or. So I think that we've accomplished a lot in that, in the educational arena with me, and and we got a good team playing. I think I'm highly respected, and it's because you have to walk what you talk. And I just really believe that. And they've seen me in action. I just go in and tell them what to do. I share it and role model it. And
That's
so I think that's why I left. They're very respectful. And even my other Head Starts that I've left across the border of I-4. I worked in Polk County and I worked in Hillsborough County. So I'm still in contact with all those classrooms. Many people call me to do trainings for them. So yeah, I think you really have to be like your code of ethics. I just got, what am I going to start when I do start consulting? I do want to do a charter. I think that's really important for people to write from the beginning to see what are you about, so that you really gave me some good ideas and a legacy. I would like to write that too. So thank you very much. This whole session was very meaningful to me.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad. I know that Terry is in Boynton Beach, so we're not far from each other. And are you in the classroom today? Are you in school today, Terry?
Did you say Sharon?
No, Terry. Terry
Yeah.
Terry,
Robinson. Yeah, you're in the
Yes,
classroom today,
I'm
right?
in the classroom.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
work
because
for a
I
Head
see your
Start
mask,
program,
definitely. You
Palm Beach
guys are
School
still with your
District.
masks on, so are we.
Mhm.
You're still with your masks on, so yeah, we are too. Yeah, we felt in the best interest of the children to keep our masks on,
Right.
definitely, yeah.
Right. And myself too.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
I had to consider that.
Yeah.
So what was your
Sharon-
question?
Sharon, I know you are a church school. Do you come from a Christian school, Sharon?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I was invited to come in and to help the school kind of change their directions
Oh, okay.
and their focus. And this is my 5th year there.
Wow.
And I normally measure my projects in 5-year cycles. So we've done some tremendous work. There's still some work to be done. The school has been around almost 40 years and did not pay attention to the change that was coming in early childhood education. So it's an opportunity.
Great. And where are you?
That's in Tampa, Florida.
In Tampa. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, cool. Very nice. Cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And Holly did put the invitation for our summit. And I know you have some in your areas too. So I just hope that you make it to one of the summits. And that way, and we can continue to collaborate. And I'm going to be at your graduation, so I'll see you again when we do the graduation. And then next year, you guys will be leaders and you will be with us and you will be working on all this and continue your path in Flacy, because that's definitely what we want. We want you all to keep learning, keep thriving, keep surviving, keep cultivating, so that we can continue to share those affirmations, right, Katie? Katie, you have a homeschool, Katie? A family
No,
center?
No, I was a teacher for 16 years and now I'm now the head of quality assurance for
Quality
4C.
assurance, that's right, okay. Wow.
A different path.
How do you like
but Katie,
that?
I'd be interested, how do you see this conversation that Emmy Lou's had with y'all apply to what you do now in establishing a quality assurance department?
It speaks to me because I feel that I'm at the beginning of a journey and right now is a crucial time where I need to get buy-in from my team. Because I see Deborah nodding, what I want to do with my team is, up until this point, quality assurance we're seen as the police. We go in, we say what the problem is, and we leave. But I want, instead of being the police, I want us to be a partner. I want us to go in, identify the problem, and then Deborah. And then I want to sit down, I want my specialist to sit down with the teachers or the director and say, here's what I found, here's how I'm going to help you fix it. And I need to get buy-in on that. So I'm taking baby steps. I'm, celebrating all the small successes and hoping that this is where I intend to take my department. It's going to be more of a partnership than a punitive arrangement. But
I can see the charter idea that Emmylou gave you to be perfect for your staff.
Yes, thank you, Dominique. Yeah, I need like a mission statement.
Yeah,
Just for my department.
just so they buy into it, because they have to believe it.
They do, and it's a real mind shift for some of them, because that's not the way it's always been done. So
I think, Katie, that including the support staff in the department is very important, that there's that relationship built, and that everybody's responsible to support those classrooms.
Right.
And so I think including the support staff with your mission would be great, just for a little input.
yes, one team.
That's great. Yes.
Definitely. So I appreciate you,
How
Emily.
about you,
This has
Judy?
been inspiring.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad the whole journey is going to be great, because I can't wait to for you guys to hear Crystal. Just in the little time that I was listening to her, I've been able to catch up on her on Facebook and catch up on her on her website, and she's amazing. She has so much information that's going to be so beneficial for all of us. So I can't wait for you to hear her and have that time with her. And Miss Judy, thank you for coming in. I know it was hard for you. You had a problem at school today?
No, it's just, I'm on inside duty today.
Oh,
But
okay.
My owner is on vacation, so I'm needed inside in the classroom today, so,
Okay.
and it's nap time, so I'm trying to be quiet, so they.
I got you.
Miss Emmylou, if I could jump in just briefly, I think that today, one of the things that you were able to do was almost like a homework assignment for one of the projects that they're going to be doing with Crystal. Part of the 4 months and the monthly day-long workshops that you'll be doing for that part of the leadership course is cultivating some sort of change project, whether that's within your center, whether that's within your community. And so as we go through each of these webinars, all of these pieces that we're providing for you are going to build up to be utilized in those next 4 months as you create that. I'm calling it a capstone project just because that's how my brain works, and thinking about, because it's yours, of what you want to achieve. And so I really want to just thank Emmylou for planting those seeds for things that they absolutely want to implement during each of their individual leadership journeys.
Yes, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And definitely the charter does help. Rereading the charter and putting it on your door in your office or in any area that you're going to be looking at. I also have my staff charter, Dominique, if you want, I can share that also, because that's more, it resonates more with the teachers in the classroom and how they work with the children and with the babies and help them get by day.
Yeah, that would be great. We're an NACE accredited school, so I feel like we should all have that in our classrooms too. I mean, just to even have to remind ourselves too why we do this job.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for letting me be a part of your afternoon. I'm really excited that I was invited. I hope next time we meet, we're going to talk about ethics, and we're going to just a plug there. Just
For the third time, gentle plug for ethics. Got it.
Because definitely, I think that's something exciting, and that I think that we have to look at, and maybe in the conference, maybe that'll be a conference track or something for directors.
Maybe it'll be a workshop suggestion that one board member is going to submit so that it can be chosen
All right.
by
perfect.
our new conference person, Wendy. It sounds like we've
And
got a
let me know
presenter
if you
already.
need that link to fill out that beautiful survey where you can make that suggestion.
Okay, I'll go on this afternoon.
And then maybe you could also incorporate some dancing during that workshop somehow or
Little
another, which makes it
pitbulls.
fun.
Okay.
Makes it fun.
A lot of 305. Okay.
So thank you, everyone. We will be back on Friday with Raquel Diaz talking about meeting facilitation. There is homework associated with our next course. It's some pre-reading. It will be posted a little bit later today in the session folder, as well as emailed out to each of you individually, along with the evaluation from today. The recording link goes into that folder. And I just want to specifically thank Terry and Dominique for bringing to my attention what they saw when they were clicking on that folder was not what everything was supposed to be seen. So I'm crossing my fingers that you now all have access to all of the resources. And I think earlier, one of the things Emmylou was asking me to do was to use all those affirmation statements and to create a second word cloud like we did at the very beginning. So I wrote them down. This is the current word cloud. I'm gonna make it pretty.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And if there's no closing thoughts, I will see everyone on Friday.
It's great seeing everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.